Hey everybody, my name is Samson Madella, and I'm always in the market for a guitar, or a bass, or a set of strings, or an amp. I love going to the local music stores, and we're starting off the series highlighting the Baltimore Music Company down in Hamden, not too far away from Baltimore City. Let's go talk to Erika and Steve and the rest of the cool cats here and see and learn more about their story. It's no place like Baltimore, right?
That's right, there isn't. I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing, but we love it.
My question is, what made you want to sell musical instruments? What's the thrill? What's the joy?
What made us want to sell musical instruments? I sort of forced you into this, so I think that's. I don't know if anyone that I know meant to sell musical instruments. I think it was more usually frustrated musicians who were buying and selling and trading musical instruments and then working in music stores, and then that sort of becomes, you build up a network that way, I guess. And it's, as you figured out, it's sort of an addiction.
Oh my God, yeah, absolutely. But it was also almost secondary because when we started, it was kind of centered around Steve's repairs. And then we were like, it would be nice if we sold stuff here too,
Yeah.
and if we did lessons. So then we kind of built that business model out around the center of repairs. So
Yeah, there was
picking up.
there was a shop that I sort of grew up in, a local shop, and they had the whole sort of biodome that created repairs, lessons, retail, and it was a place to hang. It was pre-internet, so if you wanted to learn about anything, you had to take the random knowledge as fact. Like,
Yes.
Oh, is that what he used on that? Is that what she played on that? Oh, okay. Then you lived with that lie for your whole life, and that's how it went.
First off, congratulations on this venture.
Thank you.
And you were just telling me a little bit about the backstory. Like, how did you get here? What drew you to Baltimore?
How did we get here? That's such a good question. We were sort of talking about it. Like I was saying yesterday, it was a sort of a whirlwind. All of a sudden, we're just here.
Yes.
And in my case, I think it was it seemed to go by really quick. Working in music stores, repairing instruments in music stores, and then I just wanted it to, I guess, run a certain way. I wanted it to look a certain way. I wanted to feel a certain way. I wanted to work with my friends. I wanted to be around my friends. That's kind of the thing. It just sort of happened. It was calculated, but more just sort of happened, I guess.
Would you agree that the place to hang out was and is the local music store?
Yes, it's the spot. What do you think?
Anything can happen here, really.
That's right.
I mean, you come in and you could not be interested in buying something, and all of a sudden you see something you've never seen before, or something you've always wanted, and you might buy something. You might just sit here and play. You might meet somebody, have conversations. Really, that's kind of what we wanted to create here in this space, was a little bit of something for everybody. Even if you come in with, husband, wife, kids, if you don't play an instrument, you still have something you can do here. We'll eventually have events on stage.
Yes.
You can have little performances and recitals and something for everybody.
Like, hanging out at a music store, like a music instrument shop, is not the same as hanging out at a car dealership.
No.
Thankfully,
why do you
no.
think?
No, it's definitely, a music shop is definitely not like hanging out at a car dealership or anywhere else. I mean, I remember when I was in high school, I used to work at a video store, and it was great. There was Rob's picks and Steve's picks, and then we'd come in and talk about movies, and there was same thing with the music store. I used to love it so much. It was like you would just hang out and you would just talk about music, and if you ever watch like music documentaries, Sound City and all these ones, they're always talking about, I was just hanging out, and then Dave Grohl walked in, I was just hanging out, and Stevie Nicks walked in. It was stuff like that. So that's what we've noticed here is we're all friends. We all play together. Music is a small community. The music scene is a small community. So what's really wonderful is like you run into everyone, and we all have that one thing in common. No matter where you're from,
Yes.
no matter how old you are, everyone has their stories, and the
And
stories are
even
all
if
the
you-
same.
Even if you don't play, you listen. So you can relate on really any level, which is
Absolutely.
really cool.
Sweet. Can you tell us about the staff and associates here at Baltimore Music Company?
Yes, tell the staff and the associates. I wouldn't call them staff and associates. They are first and foremost our friends, and in most cases we've known each other for a long time. And Ryan, Mike, Joshua, Ben, Aaron, a slew of amazing teachers. It's we have to be around our friends. That's sort of the shortcoming of opening a music store, and it's like we're really not in it to sell things. We're just sort of trying to create a living in a community to be around our friends who all have that same thing in common.
Sweet. Brick and mortar stores are like, are on their way out. Like,
Yeah.
you hear like Sam Ash is closing after 100 years, Guitar
Yeah.
Center filed for bankruptcy.
Yeah.
And, but like, what do you have to say? For example, me, even I buy guitars on Reverb, but then I also go to music stores. And
Yeah.
the pandemic changed our shopping habits. And what do you guys have to say about that?
I think it's always going to be nice to come in and put your hands on something. Because you can look at as many pictures and angles as you want. Especially me, I've never looked at gear. I mean, except from we live together, so I see the stuff in the house, but I've never really inspected gear. So
Yeah, she
now
knows it too well now.
yeah, I do. I'm getting there. I'm getting
Yeah,
there. I'm
yeah.
getting better. But I can look at every angle of an instrument online, but something different about coming in and touching it and moving it, picking it up. Oh, it feels as heavy. Oh, it feels as good in your hand. You're never gonna not want to have that
There,
opportunity
I
to come in.
completely agree, and there's another aspect of why a brick and mortar is so important, and we can all coexist with online shops, but I think brick and mortar is so important, not only because we do such building and repairs, restorations here, so who wants to send their gear out, but to me what's really important is that our staff and our friends, we know this stuff intimately, and if we don't, we figure it out. So we want to be a hands-on resource for our friends. You want to be able to try things in person. I mean, in our case, we have luckily a rotating sort of, you don't really buy gear, you rent it. You're sort of curating it for a while.
Yes.
So I mean, how often can you go in a shop now and I'm going to play a 53 Fender Tweed Deluxe, or I'm going to play an ES5 that was owned by Jimmy Vivino. It's different, we're also I guess hippies because we want to minimize shipping as much as possible, So
Yes.
just come in and try it, get it here, we'll take care of each other.
Yeah.
Sweet. Let's talk about pet peeves that come from
Pet peeves.
being owners. Like, there's a whole section of people on the interwebs. They're reciting their harrowing experiences, their music store horror stories. I'm like, oh, I went to the store and the guy didn't even know what I wanted, or like, the staff was rude, and there's a lot of disdain and disappointment all over the interwebs with inexperienced staff and stuff. I don't think you guys have that problem here.
Thankfully, no.
No, pet peeves.
Suddenly my mind is blank of all of my pet peeves.
What's the diplomatic answer about pet peeves? I'll say honestly, and is that we really, really mean to do the best by our friends and our customers and each other. So if we feel like we fell short of that goal, we can't sleep. And so
Absolutely.
if our pet peeves are anything, it's just probably our own frustration with ourselves in trying to really understand the needs of our customers and our community and what the business needs, which seems to be changing every 5 minutes or so.
And I think all of us are over perfectionistic, so we're always really striving to meet every need all the time. So sometimes we get overly fixated on one thing
And explode.
and just happened right there.
Yeah.
Right. And what is the future of Baltimore Music Company? Like,
What is the future of Baltimore Music Company? That's the beautiful thing. It's up in the air. It's more. We're here for the community. We will move with the community. If this ends up being just a venue, great. If it ends up being just a music store, great. If it ends up being just a repair and manufacturing, great. If it ends up being just lessons, if it's all of that, that's beautiful. But it's supposed to be a spot for the musical community and the non-musical community to come and be together.
My favorite topic. Steve, anything you want to say as a luthier? A lot of people don't even know what a luthier does.
I didn't know when we met.
Yeah.
I was like, what's your job?
Yeah.
What do you do?
Yeah, I mean, man, lutherie is such a weird, I don't really fix many lutes, so it's a funny term. But no, it's, I guess, I'm a musician, I love playing music, but there's something about the lutherie work that allows me to constantly improve. And one of the things I love about it is it's not about me. It's about the instrument, the history of the instrument, the owner of the instrument, where it's coming, where it's going. So the sky's the limit, but there are parameters. There's physical parameters I have to exist in. And when I get to work with my friends, who are all great, and some luthiers in the back, Joshua and Ben, and the guys Ryan and Mike. I mean, everyone here is great players. So it keeps you from going crazy. You can sit and work on guitar for a week, and then no, it's fine, I tweak it. So I could go on, but one of the things here is that we were trying to push the envelope with what's possible with repairs and what the new standards are, which again is driving us crazy in the best way.
Wonderful. Can you tell us about the brands and instruments here? What do you guys stock?
Absolutely, the brands and instruments here. So it's interesting because going back to another question of sort of how we sort of compete or stay alive in a world of big box stores opening and closing and internet shops closing, it has to be multifaceted. So, we're lucky we have some big great brands: Taylor, PRS, Magnetone, Victoria. I guess some of these are boutique small companies, and we have Fano, we have Beltone, Black Star. There's a lot of little brands, and we have a great pedal selection that no one around here has. And
Yes.
Mike and Ryan curate that, and Jam Pedals. Asheville.
Shout out Mass Distro.
Mass Distro. I mean, they're incredible grassroots companies who are paying attention to what people want, and the quality and the feedback and the relationship is huge. So as far as the brands, we're listening to the people. As we can all attest, one of my things here is I don't want anything here we can't stand behind.
Yes.
So we do buying, selling, and trading consignments, and so we can do collections. So for us, it's more about just what do the people want, and is it good, and we're going to make it good. So
Wonderful. Is there a guitar or bass of the day you want to highlight today?
a guitar bass. This one's beautiful. This is a beautiful old 50s Gibson ES5 that used to belong to Jimmy Vivino from the Conan O'Brien show, main guitar player for that, Fab Four, all this. This is on consignment, belongs to a sweet dear friend of mine, and who takes immaculate care of everything, but you just don't see these much. This is the same guitar actually that J.D. Simo used in that new Elvis movie that came out. A lot of people use this. It's a stellar instrument. So I gaze and fall in love with them every time I see them. But
Is it like an L5, or is it
yeah,
the same concept?
This one's an ES5,
Okay.
and with 3 P90s. It sounds unbelievable. It's comfortable. It's huge. It's beautiful, flame guitar. It's funny. I'm not good at selling guitars. The only thing I can do is sort of transfer my enthusiasm about my obsession that changes from day to day and minute to minute. So this one we've just sort of been in love with, and you don't see many of these. It's funny. I think in my repair career, I maybe worked on maybe 2 or 3 of them over the last 20 years, and then now we have 2 of them in the shop. So there's a glitch in the matrix.
And single owner, I'm assuming?
Yes.
That's nice history.
Well, this one. So actually, no. This has had a few owners. With Jimmy Vino, sweet Jimmy Vino, and then our friend who's had it for the last, I guess, 20 years or so.
Wonderful. Erika and Steve, thank you so much for
you.
taking time to chat
Thank you.
about the
Fun.
local guitar store. Any parting thoughts?
We're here for you. Whether you play music, whether you want to play music, whether you want to listen to music, we're here for you, Baltimore. We're here for you, the surrounding areas, and thank you for all the support this far.
Couldn't do it without you.